All right, team, let's get right to it. When we're talking production automation, especially for marketing, we all know the rule: garbage in, garbage out. The biggest point of failure in any automated workflow is almost always the data source. So today, we're doing an architectural deep dive on a tool designed to solve that exact problem: automating brand analysis with purely deterministic data.
So let me ask you this. Is your automation pipeline, the one your SLA depends on, currently reliant on a black box? When you're generating marketing assets or running client audits at scale, any unpredictability at that initial data gathering step introduces a massive risk downstream. Your entire system's reliability hinges on that very first step being rock solid.
And this really comes down to two fundamentally different philosophies. On one side, you have generative AI analysis. It can be impressive, sure, but for our purposes, it's opaque, it's unpredictable, and it hallucinates. And let's be crystal clear, in a production environment, a hallucination isn't some quirky mistake. It's a critical failure. It breaks the pipeline. What we're focused on is the exact opposite: deterministic, heuristic analysis. The outputs are repeatable, the logic is explainable, and the whole process is stable enough for production by design.
Here's how we're going to break this down today. We'll start with the data ingestion problem, then move into how we do precision signal extraction. After that, we'll look at the structured payload this all creates, and finally, we'll talk about how you orchestrate it at scale.
So let's start at layer 1, reliable data ingestion. The first and most basic engineering challenge is just consistently getting the raw data from a modern website. You're dealing with everything from static HTML to complex single-page applications, and our ingestion system has to handle both, every single time.
The way we solve this is with what we call a hybrid crawling strategy. It's all about being smart and efficient. We lead with a super fast, lightweight HTML parser. But, and this is key, it has built-in intelligence to sniff out if it's hitting a JavaScript-heavy SPA. If it does, it automatically falls back to a full browser render. This two-pronged attack is engineered for one metric above all: maximizing the data capture success rate.
So here's what that looks like under the hood. Step 1. We hit the URL with a fast HTML extractor, something like Cheerio, super low overhead. Step 2. We check for an SPA shell, one of those empty body tags just waiting for JavaScript. If we detect that, we move to step 3 and spin up a headless browser like Playwright to do a full render. This way, no matter what the front-end architecture is, we get the goods. It's all about consistency.
Okay, layer 2. We've got the raw HTML. Now comes the core of the system: precision signal extraction. I want to be super clear here. We are not throwing this at some vague AI and just hoping for the best. This is all about applying very specific, rule-based heuristics to pull out trustworthy signals. This is how we guarantee the data integrity that our production systems absolutely demand.
And we're not just looking for one thing, we're doing a multi-signal sweep in parallel. We're extracting CSS variables for colors, we're running a weighted scoring algorithm on calls to action, we're parsing structured data like JSON-LD and the Next.js data block, and we're grabbing all the standard meta and open graph tags. Think of it as a comprehensive, deterministic audit of the site's actual code base.
Let's drill down on one of these for a second: CSS variable extraction. Now, you could try to eyeball a color from a screenshot, but that's a recipe for disaster with gradients and lighting effects. Instead, we go right to the source code. We parse the style sheet for variables like -primary color. This isn't an approximation, it's a direct, unambiguous signal. It gives us the exact brand color hex code every single time.
Now for another really valuable feature, especially for marketing automation: weighted call-to-action scoring. Here's how the algorithm works. First, it identifies every possible CTA candidate on the page: buttons, links with action verbs. Then it starts scoring them based on factors like their position and text. But here's the clever part: it applies penalties. If a link is stuck in the main nav or the footer, its score goes down. If it's front and center in the hero section, its score goes way up. The result is a ranked list of the most probable primary and secondary CTAs. This is absolute gold for generating reusable ad templates.
So, we've ingested the data. We've extracted all these deterministic signals. Layer 3 is where it all comes together: the structured brand kit payload. All of that analysis gets packaged into a clean, predictable, and most importantly, stable JSON object. This is not a messy data dump. It's a standardized data product, purpose-built for easy ingestion by any other system in your stack.
And here's a look at the data structure. You can see it's logically organized. Under visual identity, you've got the exact primary color and fonts we extracted. Under copy signals, there are our ranked CTA candidates. And check this out. The marketing templates key gives you ready-to-use skeletons for ad copy, all built from that rock-solid analysis. This clean, structured output is the fuel for all of our downstream automation.
Which brings us to the final and most important part, orchestrating at scale. A perfect data object just sitting in a database is useless, right? The whole point is to put it to work in our production workflows. So, how do we operationalize this brand kit payload?
Well, the payload is designed from the ground up to plug right into the tools we already use. We can pipe it straight into an NN workflow, build a module for it in Make, or push it directly into our custom CRM pipelines. And because that data structure is always the same, we can run this process for hundreds of clients and maintain absolute consistency across every single audit.
What this enables is an incredibly powerful automation loop. The input is simple, one URL. The output, a fully populated, perfectly consistent client brand audit, delivered right into your CRM. The critical part is that this is repeatable. Because the entire process is deterministic, it executes the exact same way for client 1 as it does for client 1000. That is how you achieve true, reliable scale.
So if you take one thing away from this, it should be this. The entire architecture is deterministic by design. That means repeatable outputs you can count on. It means explainable heuristics, so when something looks off, you can actually debug it. It means zero hallucinations, which is a non-negotiable for production. And all of that adds up to the one thing we all need: stable, predictable, and reliable automation pipelines.
So I'll leave you with this question. It's really the core question for any of us building production systems. When system uptime is non-negotiable, when data integrity is paramount, can you really afford to build your critical automation on top of a non-deterministic black box?